Absolutely. So let's talk about the vinyl sealer for a little bit. I know we touched on it, but obviously, my opinion is I've used pretty much everyone's. I've used Sherwin-Williams. I've used Exalta. I've used ML Campbell. I have used Mohawk. And my personal opinion is that the CIC stands out above all those for the very reason of sandability and how much you can put on.
Yes, exactly. And also on top of that, it's really good as far as leveling. The way it levels is you can spray it on all stippily, and it'll still level out real nicely. So I found, my number of tests I've done here when I sprayed it out. I spray it out and I see a lot of orange peel. It just stretches out, flattens out so nicely. It's unbelievable. So it's really good for it's a really good product for somebody who is brand new to the industry and maybe doesn't spray very well. It dries fast, levels out real nice. Doesn't have a lot of solids to it, but because typical vinyls don't.
Sure.
But you're still gonna get some, okay build out of it, and you can, coat it as much as you want. Really, you won't crack. Obviously, you want to have a clean surface. Sanded. If it's new, if it's refinished, sanded to 220. If it's new, then I would sand it to like 150, 180 around there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. But everybody complains about the vinyl sealers and the sandability, and it's like the water-based products. I mean, it's like a Krispy Kreme powdered donut all day long.
Yeah, no, for our clears, for our clear vinyls, they're a little bit more difficult to sand.
Yes, they are.
But when you're making a coating, and I've talked to Miles about this a number of times, coating, you have to give and take, right? So if you want good clarity, least amount of blushing happening, then you would have to go to less sanding agents within the coating in order to get that good clarity. So our vinyl, when you shoot it on, it might not sand very well. Our vinyl clear might not sound very well, but has very good clarity. It seals up very fast. It levels out nicely. It, all those aspects come together to help you have a better, clear product. Sandability isn't always the best thing for clears, but you definitely want to have the clarity. Also, you can spray it on, and you'll get minimum amount of blushing. So it resists against blushing as well. A lot of products that I tried out there in the market, they blush really fast. I sprayed the vinyl clear at 90-degree weather over here in California, and it didn't blush. I sprayed it on heavy with an airless, and it didn't blush. So that's the benefit of the CS. What is it? The clear. I have a clear
2007, right?
2007, yes, CS 2007. And that is our clear, and the CS 1106 will be our white.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you helping me out.
You're welcome.
With the layup.
Nice.
There's so many numbers I gotta remember, man. It's
yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it, dude. Well, I have to try to remember them every time I do these things for every company. So
I'm like, wait, do we sell the MLW 12192-1?
That's funny. So let's talk about your all's natural look for a second.
Yes.
Man, that is really nice. Now, this is going to be a little bit glossier because when I got the product, I think Jeff, he's like, oh, yeah, man, catalyze at 25%. And obviously, since I've known Miles for a while, I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what he did. So anyway, but mine's a little bit more glossy than what you would normally get. But this is it. It's beautiful. 2 coats, you're done. And here's what I like about this product over some of the other ones. One is the clarity. The other is it has that feel that the polyurethane has. Where some of these natural looks from some of the Italian, they have like a grittiness to them. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they're not as they don't have the same tactile feel to them.
Yeah, so our CW 3028, which is our natural look, that product is phenomenal. Miles says it has to be catalyzed at 10%. So that's the calories ratio. But 25, I mean, as you can see, you can add up to 25% all of our products. So you know, if you want a 0 to 3 sheen, then you can, you know, catalyze 25%. It might knock it up a couple of degrees, maybe to a 5 sheen, but you can get, it's probably the most durable 5 sheen out there in the market if you do it 25%. So.
Whoops! Thanks, Jeff. that was a really funny thing because it was like he's like, "Why'd you catalyze at 25%?" I don't know. Well, at least we know it works, right?
It works. We appreciate you testing, so we don't have to guess, you know.
So we were kind of talking about it earlier. It also likes heat, so if you put like warm water and stuff in it, it'll like lay out even better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2800 series loves heat. I put warm water in all the time. I use a clear flat 3025 a lot. Yeah, warm water it loves it. It loves it. I get it boiling.
I know.
I put it in a cup and throw it in there.
So my material heater, I'll take that stuff up to like 120, 150. Oh, dude, it's money.
Lays out nice, flattens out nice. Yeah, definitely. You can do that. The acrylic definitely needs to have a little bit of flash time before you add any kind of heat to it, especially if you don't want any kind of cracking. Also, the acrylic recommend that you spray about 3 to 4 wet mils at a time.
Yeah.
You spray too heavy with typical acrylics out there that have a lot of acrylic resins in it. You're gonna have if you spray too heavy, it might crack on itself. So you gotta make sure you stay away from that because it wants to just pull away from the edges, or you can build up on the edges and start pulling away and cracks.
Yep. Yeah.
So you don't want to have that big lip there. So 3 to 4 wet mils. But our polyurethane 2800 series, I mean, you can
hammer it.
Hammer it. It won't do that. It won't. I mean, you might see a little bit of a fat lip if you do too much.
Yeah.
But if you're spraying a reasonable amount of coating on there, and obviously way more than 3 to 4 wet mils, maybe going up to like 5 to 8 wet mils, it will be okay. You know, it'll hold on.
Mm-hmm. So while we're talking about this, let's talk a little bit about viscosities. You guys have a little bit different thoughts on that, viscosities, and we can talk about thickeners and kind of what's happened in the industry with a lot of guys switching over to airless. So talk a little bit about your all's viscosities and why.
Yeah, so our viscosity can be a little bit lower than the typical European viscosity. The reason behind that is because not everybody uses an airless. Most people will use a air-assisted airless or a conventional HVLP or even like a turbine unit like an Apollo. Mm-hmm. So they would use those. And a lot of people just don't want to thin out material. You know, if you thin out material, you can lower the amount of solids in the material. And then people are very, I guess, conscious of that. So we made a material that could be shot out of an Apollo without thinning. That could be shot out of an HVLP without thinning. And also air-assisted airless, obviously. But if you need more thick, you know, you need to be thicker, we have a thickener that we're bringing out to the market as well. So if you want to have better hang on verticals and be a little bit thicker, you could add that thickener. And I think me and you found out that it's like 0.5% that you would add altogether. Yeah. So very, very little bit.
Yeah, it's like a tablespoon or a half a tablespoon a gallon, roughly.
Mm-hmm. The other way would have been to make the material really thick, and then people would have to reduce it. People don't want to reduce it, you know?
Right.
So if we add a thickener, you're not taking away from the solids. You're making the product a little bit thicker. So we found that would be a better route for us internally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I've been using so a lot of you guys that are turbine users, pretty much any of your all's top coats, except for the 2 components maybe, you probably would that would be the only ones you would have to really reduce out of the can.
Exactly, but you can shoot a 2800 series straight out of the can and you'll be okay.
Yeah. And so if you are an airless user, there's a couple ways you can attack this. If you're shooting flat, pretty much like whites and stuff, you can go with the 308 or a 306. When you get in the dark colors, I like the 306 a little bit better. And a lot of that too depends on how fast you want to move and your spray and all that. But those are my 2 favorite ones with airless. Air assist, I'd probably go with an 09 or an 11.
Yeah,
like that.
I shot the 1107 with the Tritech T5 and with the 310 tip.
Yep, that would be my preference
like,
on that. Yeah. Hose it on, man. Well, the cool thing about that is you can use a 310 because you can get like up to 14 wet mils of hang out of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good thing that you found, that you can get some really high hang on the verticals. You can put a lot of wet mills on there, and then even add a thickener to that.
Oh yeah,
dude, you might want to test that and see what you find.
All right, I'll tell you what, when I go spray the kitchen next week, I'll spray it Thursday and Friday. I'll put a little bit of thickener in it. We'll see how insane it gets.
You might need a little measuring tool.
Yeah.
You might not have enough, of that the wet mill gauge. You might bypass. It'll be 24 wet mills.
We'll have to just flip it over. They have like 4 sides. We'll be on the. Speaking of that, it's funny because over at Surf Prep, me and Austin, we like to waste some paint. I think he shot like 34 wet mills on a door. And you know what? It didn't crack. It was kind of crazy. I was like, dang, that's insane.
That's funny. Is that a polyurethane product?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Polyurethanes tend to be more forgiving and water-based, and they like to be put on heavier.
Yeah, definitely. People are blowing me up right now. Yeah, they like to be put on heavier. That's what I like about them so much. And back up a little bit with our products. You can put the vinyl down, put water base right over it. That's something we haven't touched upon in this video yet, is that you could use a hybrid system with our products. And I find it very beneficial because you could seal up the wood with the vinyl primer. And if you don't really want a full grain fill, maybe you're doing MDF or whatever, and you can have a faster system, a turnaround time, and have really good adhesion. I mean, the adhesion would be amazing. The sandability would be amazing. And our water base just loves it. It goes right over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm a huge fan of hybrid systems. Use them for a lot, but I'm switching over mainly just because of the solids that are in the water-based primers. They tend to work really well for me with MDF and a lot of those 2-coat systems. It's kind of hard I would have to do like 2 coats of vinyl. To do it. Yeah. To get the build I want. You could do it. Let me back up and say, like, you can do a 2-coat system with it, but I like the look of it better with the water base.
Yeah, I mean, it does have a more build to it. And each product is designed for a certain reason.
Sure.
If you need those, you need a fast turnaround, or maybe the contractor, the homeowner has really bad MDF, which no water base will fill, no right. Water base will stop the grain raise.
Yeah.
Then that's when you want to maybe put down a vinyl white, and then after that, put your high build primer over it.
Yeah.
Water primer. So there are the different situations that call for different coatings, and I think our market, the North American market, was so trapped on water base that they didn't realize that us finishers out in the real world, we use a number of different products in order to get the job done, and whatever it takes. So if you notice, from years of experience, if you notice that this MDF is really not very good, then you would want to use a vinyl and then top coat it with primers or whatever after that.
Yeah. And I actually did that. Do you guys recommend? I always recommend, if you do that, to go ahead and catalyze your primer.
Sure.
You guys on the same page with that?
Sure, you can catalyze it with or with not. I typically say you should, because it offers better adhesion.
Right.
And also you're putting more solids in the material, so it'll have a better build. Probably a little bit easier to sand, because it gets a little bit harder, not so flexible, won't gum up your paper as much. You can do that system, no problem. Yeah,
speaking of the vinyl sealer, so I know you can do this, but like I'm a super big fan of, like, because a lot of times, you have to you're in a house and they're like, hey, we got this floor stain we want to match something with, and it's not water based, and it really doesn't make sense to have it custom matched. They got it, you take it, you bring it back to your shop, even if you don't like it, the customers want to pay for it. I always recommend guys, when they're using a solvent based stain, just lock it in with vinyl before you go with your water base. You can let it dry, but I don't know. I've seen guys even that have let it dry and still had issues, and it's 100% foolproof if you put, you know, a couple coats of vinyl sealer on it, and lock it down and put your water base over the top of it. Plus, it's super fast. Also,
Yes.
you know, some of you guys that are doing the oak kitchens, and you don't have time to wait you know, overnight with the 1107, you can put a real light coat of that down, lock everything down, wait 40 minutes, and then put your 1107 on top of it, and go that way, and you can get 2 coats in one day.
Catalyze it at 10% and then shoot it on. You'll be
Yep.
loving it because it'll have the durability you need for sandability. Because the biggest issue, if you don't add a catalyst into a product, you'll have, I guess, a greater likelihood of breaking the edges, and so you don't want to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do that system. It's not gonna be an issue at all. I think a lot of times people go into houses and it's a stain job. They go, oh, you know, I just want it to be refreshed. I want it to be refreshed. So then you would go and have your stain, you know, whatever stain, however way you make it with mineral spirits, acetone, maybe you buy it off the shelf or whatever. You can clean the door, do a nice gentle sand on it, 320, probably going in one direction, back and forth, stay away from the edges, and then touch up wherever you need to touch up, and get our vinyl clear, and spray the vinyl clear over everything, obviously after you clean it and sand it, and then keep on touching up those little spots as you see. I think that'll be an easy way of doing it, and then put the poly clear over that, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, you do that a lot with the furniture that you refinish.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of things like that. People are like, oh, I want it to be refreshed.
Right.
Okay. So and then you can go and just do little touch-ups and, you know, put the clear and then the poly clear right over that. I mean, it's a phenomenal system. And you can build with that clear, the vinyl clear. Yeah, man, you can spray that stuff on and you can sand it. You know, usually I say if you're going to sand the clears, sand it with a very fine pad from Surf Prep.
Yeah.
Or you can use like a 400 grit sandpaper, and those are the best ways to sand it. And you know, if I mostly use the 5mm pads from Surf Prep. But yeah, you can use the regular hand sanding paper, and it should be fine.
Yeah. Or sometimes you can even go up to a 600, and sometimes I'll do that. That works well too.
Yeah, it'll help take all those nibs out, and then you can put another coat on it and take all those nibs out. Yeah. You know, within an hour, if you really were doing it by an hour, if you had a tabletop and you're spraying only the tabletop with vinyl clear, you could spray it, I mean, probably once every 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then just let it dry down good for about an hour and come back and hit it with your top coat. You're good to go.
Yeah, it'll resist against blushing. You won't have any kind of weird blushing going on.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty awesome system.
So you mentioned something that I want you to touch on, because I keep hearing this out there and it drives me crazy, but 275 and 550. So everyone keeps saying that 275 is not as good as 550 and they cut the guts out. What's the truth on that?
So, I mean, there's different solvents being used, you know. Obviously on the 275 side, we have to make sure we're not using, you know, HAPs, hazardous air pollutants, in our products. There's only 2 products you can use within the 275 range, which is Oxo 100 and acetone. So typically you'll find that the 275 products will dry a little bit faster, and people tend to put a little bit of butyl acetate in the product anyways, you know, and make their own concoction. But yeah, I think that's the only issue. The only thing is that maybe one will dry a little bit faster than the other. And as far as the technology behind it, you're going to find that our 275 works just as well as our 550 products. We actually started off in the 275 market. So that being said, we have a really firm grip on the 275 market, and then we branched out into the 550. So you're going to find that, you know, our 550 products actually stemmed from our 275 products. So we're very, very close in comparison. There's a higher VOC, so it might lay out a little bit better. You might not have to add a little bit of butyl acetate to it. But as far as the build, the durability, overall, it's going to be fantastic either way.
Yeah. I did a video a long time ago when I first started my YouTube channel, and I tested the CIC versus the Exalta, which is a 680, and some very minuscule differences. But as far as the outcome and the difference, like there was none. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's not going to be a huge difference. Like I said, very small things that can be adjusted with just a solvent blend you add into your product. So
Yeah.
typically, everybody will add their own little solvents. I always add maybe 10% acetone and 5% butyl acetate to my
Yeah.
vinyls, to my clears, whites, all my solvent-based products. That's my own concoction, but everybody else has theirs depending on the weather, where you're spraying at, how you're spraying. You could be spraying at a poly, you might have to thin out a little bit more with butyl acetate, maybe go up to like 5 to 7% butyl acetate, and maybe a little bit, 10% acetone to have it a little thin out a little bit better, but still have the open time you need. Um, that's the issue with I'm not saying issue, but that's just the problem that arises with an Apollo, that the heat of the turbine unit will actually help the material flash faster. So
Yeah.
you have to reduce that flash time by adding butyl acetate.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up anyway. Suppliers that carry your products usually have that available.
Yeah, they'll have like a lacquer thinner or stuff like that. They'll have it available. Yeah, you can. One number of our different distributors out there. We're getting more and more as time goes. We just brought DC Clark on board, so he'll be selling our water-based products and also our vinyls. So it's a we love DC. He's a great guy. He has a great business strategy, and he aligns with us and what we're trying to do in North America as far as being American made. We line up perfectly with our business plan. So that's going to be a win for sure. Obviously we have Valley Wood Coatings and also Annex in California. We're looking to get new distributors up north in Northern California and also into Washington area. But currently in Colorado, we have No Coat Paint in Windsor, Colorado. And we also have Texas Paint in Texas in the greater Dallas area. And we're working on the southern part of Dallas as well, and also into Houston, in the Houston area. So we're working on things. Things are coming. Coming together, but our distributorships are getting larger and larger. I think more people are realizing we should go American made. If you can find these products here, you don't have to have a 4-month ship time, out in the sea in order to get your product, because then you have a 4-month-old product. So people want their product now. How Americans are. We want our satisfaction now. And as far as interior wood coatings goes, we can satisfy their needs for sure.
Absolutely. And there's one other distributor you guys have out in Arizona too, right?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. We just got Sandy Industries up in Arizona. It's run by Bernie. And Bernie he's a wealth of knowledge, has over 35 years experience in the wood finishing industry. So yeah, he sells all of our water-based and solvent-based products. The solvent-based 550 out in Arizona, Phoenix area.
Awesome. Good to have you back, man. It's just crazy. We went full circle from Italy back to America.
Man, my journey has been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's good.
It is good. I'm really enjoying Satirian. I'm enjoying how the tides have changed to understand. The North American companies have really started to understand where they need to be at, and I think we definitely took the step and initiation in order to really dive into the polyurethane world. And also, obviously we have our acrylics and our precats and, all the solvent-based line that we have. But the water-based is really what's accelerating us. And I think, being American-made and being here in the United States and in the central part of the United States in Texas, we have a great location. We have great products now. I think, we have a great distribution plan. We have support. We have a great support system now for our distributors, different programs for them as well. So, yeah, we're always looking for distributors. So if there's distributors out there that would like to, have Centurion wood coatings in their facility, don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll love to talk to you.
Yeah, the other thing I'll bring up, too, is I do appreciate with you guys, and it's been, you guys have held true to this, that, you do listen to your customers.
Yes.
Whether they're big or small. You guys actually took some of my advice.
Yeah, we did. So, we get advice from all over the place. But most of it comes from the daily grinders, right? They go, hey, this thing doesn't work, really well here. So then we go back to the drawing board and fix it and readjust the product. And I think it's what we're really good at, is to make sure that the overall market will enjoy our products. And we listen to everybody out there, man. We're constantly on social media. We have an Instagram up, Centurion Wood Coatings, Centurion Wood. We have our website coming up pretty soon. It should be released very shortly. We have a number of different things happening, and yeah, we listen to everybody. And we appreciate any kind of comments you give us, and we'll be happy to take them and to try to see if we can adjust the product as well.
Yeah. And while we're talking about that, so guys know when you're posting stuff on social media, you guys are really pushing the Centurion wood coatings instead of CIC now, because that's like the parent company, right?
Yeah, CIC is a parent company, and we have Centurion Wood Coating, which is our wood coatings division. We have TM Cypress, which is our sanitation division, hand sanitizers, baby wipe, the wipes, sanitation wipes, foggers, liquid that goes into foggers, etc. We also have our Next Bond, which is our metal line, direct to metal products, enamels, water reducible enamels, a number of different direct to metal products, and we also have the Hugh Miller stain line, which is our it looks very similar, to what you have behind you, a fence stain line that is good for staining fences and preserving the fences so they don't buckle or bend or stuff like that can happen with fences. We also have a deck line within the Hugh Miller line as well for decking. Yeah,
I've seen some guys out on Instagram. The Happy Painter used some of your guys' stuff. He really liked it.
Yeah, and John LaFleur, he will be he's the one that leads the way for our Hugh Miller stain line. He's our sales rep out of Texas, and he handles all of that for us. So yeah, John's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the staining industry and the wood staining industry. We have a number of different distributors for that as well.
Right on, man. Well, hey, we appreciate it, and we're going to look forward to seeing what other types of technologies you guys are going to be bringing out in the coming years.
Let us know what you need, man. We'll see what we have to do.
All right.
I really appreciate your time, Eric. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. We'll catch you guys next time.